At InDigital, we know the public safety professionals hold themselves to a high standard. In fact, standard doesn't do it justice. In over 25 years working alongside you, carrying millions of calls over our IP networks, your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESI Net goes beyond industry standards, not only I3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
August 24th, 2016, the I Am 901 movement is born. One of my personal stories set the tone for this movement. What started out as a way to raise awareness for the reclassification issue for dispatchers quickly turned into peer support. 911 professionals from all over the world were sharing their stories. On Facebook alone, at that time, the engagements were over 34 million. It spawned a peer support session at conferences called Imagine Listening, where dispatchers shared their stories out loud or on paper. For years, I have been asked if this would ever become a book, coming June 2023, and available now for pre-order on Amazon and Barnes & Noble from Titletown Publishing. Imagine Listening. Your worst day is our everyday. If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned. Hey, what's going on? This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and this is going to be an epic episode 500. That's right. Episode 500. Wow. Honestly, never thought I would hit a number like that, or that I would be doing what I do for a living, but it has been an amazing experience, and I have all of you to thank for this, because what I do would be nothing without all of you and your support, your listening, your sharing, just all of it. So thank you so very much. This is 2 different open mic sessions put together. So I originally recorded episode 500 with a live audience, and this was at the Mayan Ranch just this past March. So depending on when you're listening to this past March 2023. And I recorded there. It was awesome. It was an excellent time to do this with all of them. And then just a couple of weeks ago for National NENA in Grapevine, Texas, I did a second half. It was Imagine Listening session, but it was the open mic portion of it. And so there's 2 different ones that are going to be there. So it's going to start out with one, and then we're going to go right into the second one and finish it off. Again, this is an episode. This is an epic episode 500. This session is... or this episode rather, is sponsored by InDigital, and big shout out to subscribers of the podcast as always. I hope you enjoy this. There are some wow stories. You'll see what I mean here in just a moment, but without further ado, here is episode 500 of Within the Trenches podcast.
Dispatch.
There is no one over here to cook our lunch. We are waiting for our lunch, and there's no one here to cook our lunch.
All right, calm down. Where are you at?
The group home. Now, what are you going to do?
We'll get some help over there for you, okay?
Welcome to Open Mic, where we visit the lighter side of dispatch, because laughing is good medicine.
Hey, what's going on? This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we're about to get started with Open Mic, and this is going to be a milestone, a special 500th episode for the podcast. And I'm here with a live audience. Yeah! That's right. We've got everybody here, and we are at the Mayan Ranch, and we're here for the leadership training that has been going on all week, put on by Joe Serio and the 360-degree dispatcher, and this is going to be awesome. We just had a very emotionally intense Imagine Listening, but now it's time for the lighter side of dispatch, where we talk about all the funny shit that happens. So, who has a story that they would like to start out with? Right away. Now, I will say, it takes one story for the rest of them to go downhill, so let's see how long it takes. Yes, go ahead.
So we do Pro QA, so you know we're asking everything twice. I get a call from a woman. It is July 5th. We have just had the July 4th of all July 4ths, right after COVID. Everyone's blown up the world with fireworks. Everyone's called. It's July 5th. She calls. I'm going to make up the address, 116 Whispering Oaks, 116 Whispering Oaks. And I say, okay, give me your phone number. We go through that twice, and I say, give me your name. And I'm gonna make up the last name, but she says, my name is Karen Highland. I said, okay, Karen, tell me exactly what happened. And she said, well, I'm out here with my neighbor, and there are two boys right down the street shooting off fireworks. And I said, Karen, I understand it's July 5th, but there's no fireworks ordinance in Williamson County. And she said, no, I understand that. I called yesterday. And I'm thinking, oh, you were one of the millions that called yesterday. And I said, okay. And I said, so tell me more. And she said, well, they shot off the fireworks. So my neighbor and I went down there and said, boys, you can't do that. And I said, okay, they can, but okay. And she said, and so they went across the street and shot off more. So we went down there and told them, you can't be shooting off those fireworks. And I said, okay, what do you need an officer to help you with? How can we help you today? And she says, well, they came up and shot fireworks off again right across from my place. And I said, well, where are they now? And she said, well, they're leaving and they're walking away. And I said, okay, Karen, how can I help you today? And she said, well, the thing I'm most concerned about is they knew my name.
Oh, shit.
How do you explain the Karen movement to Karen Highland on the phone?
Oh, my God. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Who has a story they would like to share? All right. Okay, so we've got three here. Awesome.
All right.
I love this because you're already laughing. You know it's going to be good. Yes, thank you.
Because it's probably one of my most embarrassing moments.
Yes, please.
So it was Memorial Day floods a couple of years ago, and it gets really bad in Central Texas. And so we had, at that time, a wedding that was going off, and they were all caught in a flash flood. So we had 5 agencies. Everyone was out assisting us trying to get these people rescued. And over the radio, I said to the fire department, the boat is on the asphalt. We had our fire marshal in the pod with me, with his feet up on the desk. He brought his feet slowly down to the floor, and I felt the looming presence slowly getting closer to me. And he said, "You just say ass feet over the radio." And I just I had to own up to it. So I said, yep, I sure did.
Very nice. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so many years ago, I took a call out in one of our more affluent areas of a prowler. It was about 2 in the morning, and the lady she could just hear the prowler, and she's scared. And so I stayed on the phone with her, and I'm on the phone with her about 20, 25 minutes, and the whole time she's just scared because she just can hear it, and she can hear it, and she just can't see anything outside, but she can hear it. And so we're getting close, but we've been on the phone, like I said, 20, 25 minutes, and all of a sudden she goes, oh my gosh, you don't have to come at all. And I said, well, why wouldn't we need to come? You've been hearing this for the last 20, 25 minutes. And she said, I just realized what it is. It's my vibrator going off in my drawer.
Oh, hi-yo. Oh my God. Let's see, I thought there was another story over here, but okay, got him over here. See, it takes one story for all of them to go downhill or uphill, I don't know.
So I don't know if this happens to other dispatchers, but sometimes words are hard, like very hard. So I had a call that was in another county, so I went to transfer it over. So I clicked the button and everything, and the lady's still talking. I'm like, okay, let me announce you, and then you can talk. So the other county answers. So I said, this is blank county with the transformer. Go ahead, caller. And everybody looked at me, and they slowly, and I just acted like I meant to say that. So to this day, I don't know what the hell a transformer is. They answered the call, and so now, like, that's a running joke. I'm like, oh, transformers. So yeah, so words are hard. Words are hard a lot.
Awesome, thank you so much.
So I took a call one day with some people running around and hanging out in the street. So when I go to dispatch the officers, I tell them they're shitting in the street. He goes, they're doing what in the street? They are sitting in the street. They're not shitting, they are sitting.
Awesome, thank you. That's great.
So I'm working main radio one day, and not a lot of traffic in our city. It gets busy at times, but most of the time it's just there's traffic stops. There's not a whole lot of busy emergency stuff. You get lazy on the radio, you get tired on the radio, you're just kind of sitting around. And I'm walking around the room, waiting for something to happen. And I'm a loud person. Like, when I stretch, I stretch. When I yawn, I yawn. It's everybody knows Steve's still awake, so we're good. And I didn't hear anything on the radio until the sergeant says, "Is everything okay?" I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead. He's like, did you hear the scream on the radio? I'm like, I didn't hear anything. And my IM was lighting up like crazy because I had an open mic because we have the packs, they have the lock packs. So when I stretched, I must have hit it. And so my whole stretch went out over the radio and some choice words as well. So they were like, yeah, it's dispatch code 4. I'm like, oh, shit.
And that went over too, so. Awesome, thank you so much.
And being a trainer, you get some really funny things from your trainees. And sometimes you're just like, what the hell? What was that all about? Okay, I had this one trainee, and the officers were on a call, and there's like, dispatch Mark Miranda. And she goes, 10-4? And then it was really silent, and she goes, well, I just can't find him. I'm like, what? And I'm sitting there going, what? Find who? And she gets on the radio, whomever, what is DOB of Mark Miranda? I'm like, no!
Yes!
No. And then cricket, and I'm like.
That is great. I might have to make a coffee mug or a t-shirt that says, yeah, who's Mark Miranda?
Mark Miranda, I go, what's his date of birth?
That is awesome.
I took a call, answered the phone. I don't even know if I got my introduction out, but because she was like huffing and puffing. Like, I thought somebody was chasing her, so I just went straight into it. And she gives me the address, and she's like, I was like, tell me what happened. And she, sorry.
No, this is good. I love this.
So she tells me, she's like, okay, I'm trying to get to my apartment. I'm walking up the stairs, and I'm thinking like, what? And she says, and at the top of the stairs, I was met by this raccoon. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, ma'am, can you just send somebody? I'm like, okay, what's wrong with the raccoon? I didn't understand what was going on. She's like, I'm just so terrified. I thought I was gonna pass out. And I was like, where's the raccoon at? She's like, I don't know. I got up there, I screamed, the raccoon screamed. I didn't even know. She's like, I didn't know raccoons could scream. So then I start running, and then the raccoon's running behind me. So we're both running down the stairs. I get to the bottom of the stairs, ma'am, are you sending somebody? And I'm like, normally we don't send people those calls, but I was like, I'm gonna send somebody. And I was like, okay. She's like, so I'm thinking like, I don't even know what to ask next. I'm like, okay. So, well, where did the raccoon go? I need suspect information, I guess. I didn't know. I was like really caught off guard by it. She's like, I don't know, ma'am. I went to the left. I think he went the other way. I'm like, okay. So I put the call in. I already know everyone's gonna start saying. So I'm like, no, you better send somebody. Just send somebody to this lady. She's scared. And then I see who they send, and so I sent him a message, and I said, you better go up there with a good attitude, motherfucker, because I said, you better go up there, you better have a good attitude. He's like, okay. So he goes up there. He says he meets the lady, and he starts walking with her, and that she's like looking around. She's like, you would thought like an axe murderer was like coming after her. And so they get to the apartment, and he said that she's like jiggling her door, and that she just runs in and just slams the door shut. And so he's just there. He's like, okay, he just left.
Wow, that is awesome. Thank you. I have to find out how to animate that whole story. That's badass.
So we're going to continue with the animal stories.
All right.
So we received a call from a very frantic father saying that there was an alligator in his house. His wife and daughter were freaking out. They were texting him. They sent him a picture of this alligator. So we sent the one person on our shift that loved animals, and we called animal control. And so she has a leash. You know, she doesn't know what she's going to do with this alligator. They end up getting out there, and it turns out that the wife and the daughter were playing a prank on the dad, and he didn't know. So he's calling us, because they never called, but he's calling us, freaking out. He left work. He's on his way back home. Officers get out there. They call him and said, sir, your wife and kid were playing a prank on you. They had like gotten an alligator picture off the internet that looked similar to their house and ended up having everybody go out there.
Oh, damn. Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, so keeping with the theme of animal stories here.
Yes.
So I was 19, brand new to dispatch. I'd been off training for maybe 2 weeks, answering phone calls by myself and everything. And we had this higher end apartment complex where all the buildings sat in like a circle. And this lady calls one day, and she is all hysterical, and I'm like, okay, this is about to be really bad. And she goes, there's a chicken on my table. And I'm really confused because I'm thinking like grocery store chicken, and I'm like, okay, and try to get a little bit more information. And she goes, no, you don't understand. I live in this apartment complex, and there is a whole clucking chicken on my table. And come to find out, my coworkers start getting a bunch of similar calls. This lady was keeping a whole flock of chickens in her apartment. It was a nice day, and everybody had their bottom floor balcony doors open, and the chickens got out of her apartment and were going in other people's houses.
Oh,
so these people
shit.
are coming home, and there's just chickens in their apartments. It took animal control like 45 minutes to get all of the chickens out.
Damn. Amazing. Thank you. All right.
Okay. So mine is about me.
Okay.
I goofed up. So it was many years ago. I was on night shift, and we all had our moments where we get really sleepy, lack of sleep. I'm on the phone with a person who's calling in she thinks she heard something outside, so it's a possible prowler. So we stay on the phone with them, obviously until somebody gets there. And it's taken a really long time for units to make scene. So we get there, They're driving, and I'm on the phone with her, and I was trying to make a little small talk with her, and I guess I dozed off at one point, or I was talking in my sleep to her, like saying things to her. So I remember she'd asked me a question, and I told her, if you hear some silence, I'm still here. But, so I guess I kind of dozed off, and she was like, well, do you know, what are they going to do when they get here? And I said, it's okay. Normally we tell them, they'll check, they're going to check outside, and then they'll come make contact with you. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I said, it's okay, they're gonna come out, and they're gonna pack your bags and pack your stuff.
Oh no.
I said, they're gonna pack your bags, and she said, what? And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I said, I meant they're gonna come out, and she was like, okay. She said, I don't understand. I just dozed off for that quick, and so everybody played it back, and they were laughing hysterically.
Of course, because that's how awesome coworkers are, right?
And it gets told now to this day too.
Nice, thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to Within the Trenches Presents Open Mic. We just finished doing Imagine Listening, some very, very powerful stories, but now it's time to share the lighter side of dispatch because laughing is good medicine, and we are here for the 2023 National NENA Conference. We are in Grapevine, Texas. Man, I've been doing this all over the place. And we are here for Open Mic. This is going to be a part 2 to an epic 500th episode. And we got a live audience here. Let's hear it. All right. So who has a story? Who wants to start out Open Mic? Oh, snaps, right away. You're like jumping out of your chair. All
I'm
right.
excited to hear this. Make sure you guys hold the mic close to your face.
Or use your dispatch voice.
So we live in a city that has a public transit train that drives through Dallas, and it dead ends into our city. We get a lot of colorful stories from our guests that come off of that train and just wander around our city. But one day we got a call from the train, multiple callers, about a woman that was bleeding all over the train. She was just bleeding out. It appeared vaginal, just hemorrhaging everywhere. So we've got PD going, EMS going. We don't know what happened. Nobody can really tell us what happened. It turns out when we got there that she was actually just masturbating with a bottle of Frank's Red Hot Sauce. And I guess it's true what they say. They really do put that shit on everything.
All right, so there's one in back of you that rose her hand. So there it goes. First story. Boom, we're going downhill. Oh my God, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I think sometimes it's really hard to say things across the radio, and you don't quite know how to say it because we had a parking complaint that we kept getting, and over we told them we don't have somebody to send. She finally calls back and says, does it matter that they're naked? And it wouldn't bother me much except they keep bumping the horn.
Nice, very nice. Oh man, who has a story? I know everyone's like, shit, I don't know if I'm going to be able to top any of those. Sheesh. Yes. Thank you, Don.
I had to dispatch officers to an intoxicated person by a dumpster who was naked. And they're en route looking, and the sergeant keys up and says, what's the subject wearing? And the officer replies, nothing. And so everybody in the department now gives the sergeant a hard time about not listening to calls and the naked people.
Very nice.
So I got a call from a very concerned citizen. He was very serious on the phone when I answered. He said, I think I have a problem. There's a lot of kids in my neighborhood. I'm really concerned. It was towards the spring, snow was melting. He said, someone scattered meth all over my front yard. It was road salt.
Thanks, Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Okay, so I work for a little bitty small community, so we set the sirens off for tornadoes and things. well, we forgot to let our new hire know that when you set them off, it's open mic. And it keyed up, and she said, oh shit, fuck, what do I do? And, and everybody in the county heard it. The sheriff actually called her and said, you know we can hear you. And she said, oh shit, sorry. And it did it all over again.
So a lot of the smaller agencies, when I worked at this one, the officers go above and beyond for certain individuals because it's just better to keep them on your good side than the bad side. So the officers used to do favors for this guy. We'll call him Fred. And so he would call up and he'd be like, hey, you know, I need the officers to come and do this or the other thing. And one day he calls up and he would call from a payphone to show how long ago this was. And as soon as we answer, he's, ow, son of a bitch. And he keeps yelling, ow, what's going on? And he's like, these fucking bees are stinging the shit out of me. And we're like, well, what do you need, Fred? What do you need? And this goes on for about 3.5 minutes where this poor guy is just getting stung by bees. Apparently there was a garbage can next to the payphone, and it was the warm summer day, and there was just bees all over this garbage can, and he keeps getting stung. And finally we get out, Fred, what do you need? What do you actually need? Well, I got to get to the post office, get my damn welfare check. I need the officer to come down and take. Fred, it's Labor Day. Post office is closed. Oh, all right, thanks, bye.
Meanwhile, getting stung the whole time. Jeez.
So we have a frequent flyer, and we'll call her Dee. But Dee called up and said she was real mad because she said that her roommate's breath stank, and her roommate didn't like that, and she needed an officer to talk to. And I was like, okay. So I sent her one, and then as we were just sitting there talking, making sure to de-escalate the situation, she said she had a fart. And I said, excuse me, ma'am, did you say you have to fart? Just make sure that I didn't miss anything. And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, go for it. And so then she goes, oh, hold on a second. I'm going to put you on speaker. I had to take a shit. And I was like,
dude.
Okay. So then the officers were sitting outside. I said, Dee, you need to go outside. The officers need to speak with you. And she's like, okay, hold on, I'm wiping. And I'm like, it's like, thank you for the play-by-play. And I said, after that, okay, just wash your hands. And
Oh man, see, that's amazing. That's one of those things, right? You're taking these calls, and you tell the person, like, put the phone down. Right? You tell them sometimes in these calls, put the phone down so that I can at least hear what's going on for the responders that are going that way, all of that stuff. And then something like that happens. I had a gentleman who did something similar, and he said, just hold on a minute. And I said, okay, just put the phone down for a moment, and so I know what else is going on. He's like, all right, cool. And then he just starts peeing, and I was like, oh God. I was like, why? Like, for real? But I told him, put the phone down so that I can hear what else is going on. So, damn it, yeah. That's what happens. Anyone else have a call? Oh, here we go. All right, cool. We got one there and then two up front over here.
It's been several years, but I was sitting at my desk on a calm Sunday morning. And all of a sudden I get this call, and this man says, I need help. My wife's been run over by a deer. And I said, what did you say? He said, my wife has been run over by a deer. Well, how did that happen, sir? Because I'm thinking it's a prank. They were riding four-wheelers, and a deer jumped a fence and hit this lady in the head.
What?
She was hurt, but when I found out who it was, she worked for my husband. And you can imagine what a bunch of men did when she came back to work. Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Oh, perfect. There were two over here, I think. Yeah. Every time I hear that song now, I'm going to think of this story. Thank you. That is great.
So we had a couple deputies go and pick up a juvenile from a hospital that is in our county, but not in our jurisdiction. And while they're taking this kid out of the hospital to take him to detention, the trainee pipes up and says, I have one running towards the apartment complex. So hold the channel for him and say, what's your description? And his description he throws at us is, the brick one. Like, I don't mean what building, I'm talking about the child who's running away from you. They did get him though.
Oh, good. Very nice. And then, oh man, this is good. See, this is the good part. So we laugh through this.
So January, we had a pretty unexpected snow, and for my area, we don't get a lot of snow. And I had someone that's down in dispatch send me the call sheet because it was freaking amazing. I don't know if y'all find it hilarious, but it was great to us. Someone calls in the area that people are making snow genitals and at the parks of all places.
What?
So, of course, we have to send our officers out to go, inspect this. Well, the disposition on it, that the officer arrived, and he said, I arrived on scene and immediately noticed the giant 8-foot snow genitals protruding from the ground. I used my dispatch-issued gloves to topple the shaft. The mound no longer resembles male privates and now appears to be cherries or fuzzy dice.
Okay, that's a cool officer. I love that. We had a couple officers who would go out to a frequent caller. This person was always getting bats. So they would go out there and they would write in the narrative, we entered the house and we saw the villain, as it was like they're telling this whole story about this bat that they saw, and it was hilarious. But that right there, snow wieners, I think that's the first time that I've heard that on an open mic once. So thank you for that. Go ahead.
So I got a call from an elderly female and asked the question, as we do, tell me exactly what happened. And she says, well, my cat got stuck in a tree. So I start going through the whole, well, you can put a can of tuna at the bottom. Usually the cats will come down. She said, yep, we've tried all that. But my 71-year-old husband decided to go up and get the cat, and now they're both stuck in the tree.
Oh, man. Another first. Damn. Okay, see? Note to self, don't go after the cat. Let it come down.
So I'm at 911, and I take this call for a water leak. Normal call, dispatch fire out there, send them out thinking, okay, they're going to go out, they'll shut the meter off, no big deal. It's at an apartment complex. And fire gets on scene. They're like, okay, we've got the water shut off, all this, and it's on the radio, and he says, we found the source of the leak. It's from the sprinkler system. I'm thinking, okay, we'll try to get hold of maintenance, whatever, send them out there for the complex. And he says, it's result of a swing being installed in the bedroom. They hit the sprinkler line overhead with the bolts.
Oh, snap. Like, literally, snap. Like, wow.
So this didn't happen to me, but it happened to one of our other supervisors. And I came into work, and everybody in the dispatch center is just laughing up a storm, and they're like, you have to listen to the call that she took. She had an open 911 line, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I pulled up the tape, and all of a sudden I just hear mooing in the background. Moo, moo. And this goes on for like 5 minutes. We have an open mic. And it was just the hilarious thing. I mean, we live in the Midwest where we're at. And, it was an open line with a cow. They were out feeding the cows, and she bumped her phone, and all you could hear was the cows as she was feeding the cows for the day.
Oh, that is awesome.
So it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had an elderly male caller who, when I answered, just send me an ambulance. Okay, sir, what's your address? And he gives me the address. Send me an ambulance. Okay, sir, tell me exactly what's happening. He goes, I told you I need an ambulance. And I said, sir, I understand, and I'm going to send you an ambulance. Just tell me what's going on. I'm in pain. So I'm trying to go the EMD route and figure out, obviously knee pain is going to get a different response than chest pain. And I said, sir, can you tell me the primary source of your pain? And he said, the primary source of my pain right now is in my ass because you won't stop asking me these stupid questions. And I said, okay, sir, an ambulance will be there shortly. And let it go.
Very nice, very nice. Oh, that is good. This is years ago now when I was in dispatch, and it's kind of embarrassing, but it's all about humor, right? So it's okay. However, I will say really quick, the context of this story, people who have heard this story will randomly send me messages with pictures of, well, I'll tell you here in a moment. So I was going to dispatch one night, and we would work 312s and a 4. They've changed it now, but that's what we would work. And this 4-hour was always on a Wednesday. So this time I'm going in, and it is it's the 1 to 5 shift, 1A to 5A, okay? Taking my nap, still tired, but I wanted to stop and get some food and something to drink. Got to stay awake, right? So I'm on my way to dispatch and stop at a gas station. And I'm walking around looking for some sort of food or something, and I stop and see something, and it's a gas station burrito. And it's called the Red Bomb. Yes, you can look this up. You can Google it. I also got a 12-ounce energy drink, a Red Bull. And I was ready to go. I was like, all right, I take off to dispatch, get there kind of early so that I can microwave this thing because I'm starving. I thought I was going to be on backup phones. Nope, I'm on May phones. So I get debriefed and everything. I've got this delicious, this huge burrito. And I sit down, destroy this thing. I'm like, oh, it was so good. So good. But remember, I said the name was Red Bomb. I didn't think that was going to be my future. I also chugged that Red Bull. And I'm sitting there. I'm ready to go. I'm like, we're going to kill this. Get a phone call from the agency south of us. And they're telling me, we need you to put out a BOL because we've got a car that we're chasing. It's going to be going up into your county here soon. So I'm typing, doing my thing. And then something happens. And I start twitching. And my stomach starts talking to me. I'm like, hell no. Like, there's no way this is happening right now. There's an emergency going on, and I'm having my own emergency. I started getting this bubble gut. And I start sweating. Like, this is how bad it is, because I am hurting. I'm in pain during this time. And I sent a message to my partners saying already, if I have to get up and run, you need to take this phone call, okay? Because I don't know about your dispatch center, but mine, we have one bathroom that's inside the actual center, right? And I wasn't about to drop heat there. No. Now with all of them, no. And then we have one down the hallway. So I'm still trying to hold it in. I'm like, come on, cheeks, stay together. We can do this. Exactly. And no, there was no way. I was like, I got to put you on hold really quick. I've got to do something. Hold on just one moment. And they're like, okay. Like, they're probably like, what the hell? You know, we're chasing somebody. Put them on hold, stand up. I got to run down the hall, take the call. They're like, all right. So I haul ass running fast enough, like cartoons, like you can see the smoke. Hopefully smoke, nothing else, right? Go down the hall, do my thing, come back. I'm like, all right, I'll take the call again. So I'm on the phone. And again, my stomach starts bubbling. I'm like, shit, literally, shit. And, you know, sequels, right? Movies, sequels, they're the worst. Well, in the shit world, it's the same, all right? And I don't know if you've ever tried to hold in, like, your gas or anything, but it kind of travels up, turns into like a back fart. It was bad. It was super bad. So I go to put him on hold again. And I stand up, and I go to tell my buddy that I have to run for it again, and he goes, you got to poop, dude? I was like, bro, it's not a warrant. You don't got to confirm it. But yes, I do. So I haul ass again, run off, do my thing. When I come back, nobody's on the phone anymore. I'm like, oh, awesome. It's over. And I'm thinking about myself like it's over. Good, good, good. Phone rings again. Same people, same agency. So this vehicle had been going up and down and up and down, and all I could think was throw the stop sticks down. I'm going through my own shit right now. Like, stop this. Like, literally, I am. And finally, I'm on the phone, and again, it happens. This trilogy of poo now that I'm dealing with. And I'm dying. I put him on hold, and I yell over to my buddies, and I said, I'm not going to make it down there. I'm going to go right here. And they're like, what? I was like, no, not right here. Not where I'm standing. I'm going to use the bathroom here. And they're laughing, and I'm just like, whatever. I go into the bathroom, okay? I turn on the fans. I turn on the water. Anything to mask the war I'm about to go into. Because if you've ever watched Dumb and Dumber, oh, you know what I was about to go into. I'm in there screaming for my life. I come back out, and they're just laughing. And I'm the supervisor on duty. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn up the heat so that you guys can smell that shit. So, years later, I'm on a family vacation. Stop in Montana. We're going to Washington State. Stop in Montana at a gas station. I'm just walking through the gas station. I get this weird twitch again. I was like, what the hell was that? And I turn around, and there's a cooler of Red Bomb burritos next to a display of Red Bulls, and all I could think was, screw you, Montana. That's my story. All right. There you have it. There it is. Episode 500. An epic episode 500, man. Wow. Some of those stories, like, when it comes to 911 and some of the calls that come in, you can't make this shit up. And that's part of it right there. And I'm wearing my open mic shirt right now as well, too. But it was awesome to have all of you there, especially at the Mayan Ranch. That was so special. And then, of course, at the National NENA conference, which also marked 10 years of not only the podcast, but 10 years of doing the podcast at NENA. And this podcast has just done so much. And again, as I've said before, and I'll say it many, many times, I wouldn't be doing what I do if it wasn't for all of you. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for all of you who continue to listen, to support, share, just everything. So thank you, all of you, for 500 episodes, for 10 years of the podcast, NENA, for 10 years of our partnership. And also, because of all of you, this podcast is about to hit 2.1 million worldwide downloads. And the podcast is heard in over 60 countries. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. And for those who are watching, listening, everything, if you have any comments, questions, or you ever want to be a guest on this show, please send me an email to wttpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. And to put it all out there easily, just simply go to links.co/WTT podcast. Once again, that's links with 2 eyes.co/WTT podcast. And you'll find everything there. All of my social media, where to follow, where to send an email. You can listen to the most recent episode. You can do so much. Like, everything is on there. It's my bio page, okay? And you can order the book, Imagine Listening. Your Worst Days Are Every Day. You can become a subscriber of the podcast for bonus material, discounts to the store, swag, all different kinds of things. And also there's a link in there for the store where you can go and purchase merch. So check it out. Once again, that is links with 2 eyes.co/WTT podcast. And I thank you all so very much. And this live broadcast has been sponsored by InDigital. I might have said that already, but I thank them so very much as well. So it is all good. And this can be seen on YouTube as well as Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn Live. And it can be heard 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone. And we will see you all in the next one.